Hey guys, Rex here, and welcome back to my Minecraft Survival Let's Play. Today is episode 9, and we have got some really cool stuff that is going to be happening today. So let's go back into the normal view here, and we have a problem in this world, and I've run across it pretty recently, and it is getting very, very annoying. And as you can see, I have iron armor when I used to have diamond and stuff. And that's because we are running out of emeralds. Like, these guys will give us free, unenchanted diamond armor and stuff. But we're like completely out of emeralds. And the other emerald farm, the emerald factory thing that we built in episode 8, does not work. The villagers do not actually harvest the carrots and potatoes because of an oversight on my part. I thought it was a bug, but apparently it wasn't a bug. It's just a very, very strange behavior. And then the pumpkin farm, I have no idea why, but it just doesn't do anything. Like, the pumpkins don't grow. It's really weird. But yeah, so obviously that's not going to cut it. That's not going to cut it if we're getting like a couple emeralds per like couple hours of AFKing. We don't want that, so we're going to need to step it up a couple notches. And to do that, I've been using my fancy new beacon to dig this hole. And yep, it's about not even a quarter of what I need to dig out for just the first couple layers of my base. My base is going to be massive, and is going to be fantastic, and is going to be hopefully entirely within the spawn chunks, because I want to get as much of it in the spawn chunks as I can. Now, this is the previous emerald factory, obviously, and it's not producing very much, and it's tiny. It's tiny. I gotta admit, it's tiny. So this area here has got to go. Even though I did spend a whole 2 episodes working on it, it has got to go. And instead, I've got this hole over here. And if you don't know what this shape is, I'm sure a lot of you do, but if you don't know, it's the shape of Unarybit's carrot and potato farm. And I'll put a link to that in the description. It is probably the coolest carrot and potato farm that I have seen. It uses a very, very cool concept with villager AI. And it's pretty much the standard now for people that want to build carrot and potato farms, because it produces, per layer, it produces, I think it claimed it was 16 stacks per hour, which is a ton. Imagine how many emeralds we can get with 16 stacks per hour, and I'm going to have 3 layers here and 3 layers there. So what's that? 16 stacks per hour times 6 is 96, I believe. Am I right? Yeah, 96. That might just be a math fail, but I'm 96 stacks per hour, which is like 2 double chests per hour, so we can get a ton of emeralds from this, assuming that I'm going to get this all done. But in this episode, I'm only going to be finishing one of them. Yeah, but as you'll notice, I should probably mention that I'm going to modify the bottom layer to work with wheat. So I'll get the carrot, potatoes, and wheat, because wheat is really important too, because we can breed cows with it and stuff. But you'll notice that while I was digging this hole, I ran right smack dab into a spider dungeon. But I didn't just run into one spider dungeon, I ran into 2 spider dungeons. You can't see the other one, but it's like right behind this wall. And if I stand like here, I'll be activating both the spawners, and I could get them to both activate at once. But I think that unfortunately this one is going to have to go, because my master plan for my base that I've been planning out in the creative world for a very, very long time, like, it requires me to build right here, and I can't do this. I can't do any of this spawners right in the middle of my base, even though there are 2, and it's very rare to have 2 of the same type right beside each other. But it's a spider. If it was a skeleton, then I'd definitely not build here. But since it's a spider dungeon, we can get those other places, and string is really not that important. Because you only need it for like big projects like Enderman farms and stuff like that. I'm probably going to be getting rid of this, but I'm not going to be too hasty with my decision. I'm going to leave it there until the last possible moment. So let's get started with these farms, shall we? So quickly, while I was waiting for some sand to smelt up in my nether smelter, my quick temporary little smelter here that I built, I thought I would show you what I've been up to up here with the Pigman Farm. Now, obviously, since I've digged that giant hole. No, I've dug that giant hole. in my base, I now have absolute tons. I have like 10 double chests full of stone, and so now we can finish up the rings. I'm now almost done the rings. I've only got a couple little bits left, and maybe next episode, maybe after that, we are going to be building the killing chamber or not the killing chamber, but the killing mechanism for this farm. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do it yet, so that's why we're not doing it right now. But yeah, obviously what I want to show you is this hole. Now, I made this hole 7 by 7 because 3 by 3 was a little too small. I wanted to have more space to work with so that I can make it look nice and pretty when we actually have a sort of formal way up here, if you know what I mean. And I'll show you how I did that. It's a very, very cool technique that I found on Reddit, and I think it was discovered by a guy named PC Noob. I can't quite remember. But what you need to do to actually very, very easily get rid of bedrock after you have an initial hole, by the way, I should mention that they are fixing the they have fixed the dark oak tree bug, so in 1.9, you won't be able to use it, and possibly 1.8.2, I'm not sure, but neither of those versions have been released yet. So if I have a bed, right? If I place the bed, if I have a block here, although if I don't have this block, I can't place the bed, the bed will occupy these two spaces, right? But as well, if I have a tall grass here and I place a block on top of a tall grass, it will replace the tall grass instead of going on top of it, right? And that's to prevent, well, I find it sort of annoying. But what's really, really cool is that if we have a block here and a block, a tall grass here, if we place a bed on the tall grass, the bed will replace the tall grass, right? But then the top section of the bed will actually replace whatever block is there if it's facing like this. So, bam. It just replaced the netherrack. So if that block is actually bedrock, it will still replace it. And so that's how I got this big hole. It took me like 10 minutes to dig this big hole in the bedrock, which is really awesome. I used that bug, and it's probably going to be fixed very, very soon, but it's really, really convenient. So now I have this big hole here. So I thought I'd quickly show you that while I'm smelting up the sand here. But yeah, let's get working on my carrot and potato farms. So I've got a chest of stuff together that we are going to be using for this build, and as we can see, we've got lots of stone bricks, lots of dirt, and lots of slabs, glass, glowstone to light it up, water. We've got an infinite water source right here, and a bunch of hose. We're probably going to need way more hose than that. Now obviously this probably isn't, we're probably going to need a little bit more than this, or I don't know, this is just an estimate, so we may need more, we may need less. I'm expecting more because I usually tend to underestimate these things, but there's plenty more where this stuff came from, except for the glass, so hopefully don't need any more glass. But I guess that's all there is left to do now is start building. So first up, we have to lay the foundation and place down all of our minecart rails. Now these rails are super important because they will pick up all of the drops from our wheat farm, and the drops from the carrot and potato farm will fall down a shaft, land on that gold block, and be picked up by the minecart as well. Then, we add floating water sources by creating pockets with tilled soil, and we make sure they're hydrated so that they don't update the floating water. Next, we place our ice with a carpet on top, and when it melts, we can get rid of our temporary water source. Then we can go ahead and fill in the rest of the area with lots and lots of dirt. Add some lights, till the soil, plant some seeds, and there we have it. Alright, so I hope you liked that little cinematic thing there that I just did, that little progress update style thing that I just did. I got the idea to do that from a guy called Freezerpick, and if you haven't heard of Freezerpick, he's one of the newest members on the SMB server, and he makes fantastic videos. I think his videos are very, very, very well done, so I'll put a link to his channel in the description, and that's sort of where I got the inspiration for that little thing that you just saw, and he does those in his videos. Where's my chicken here? And yeah, that's part of why I think they are really well done. But yeah, as you can see, I've added a roof onto the farm, and obviously this is only one layer of the farm, and we're going to build two more. and I added a couple little things inside here. So let's take a look. We now have a little way to get in, and then I added this here. So this is a tube, there we go, and all of the carrots and potatoes from the previous layers are going to fall through this tube and then land on that gold block, like I said. And then when the minecart comes around where that gold block is, it's going to pick it up, and then so they're all just going to get carried to the same place. Now, the reason we have the minecart tracks is because the wheat farm is going to work a little differently. Actually, before I talk about the wheat farm, I'll talk about the concept that makes these farms work. Now, I need a seed first, which I don't have any, so I'm just going to harvest one of these. There we go. So, when there's going to be nothing in this block right here, right? And you'll notice there's two pillars here that I added, and they actually make it so that the light level on this block is too low for a crop to grow there. So when the villager comes from anywhere in the farm, if he's, harvesting this crop, let's say, he'll see the middle and that there's no crop there. So he'll want to go plant a crop. So he'll run over here, and then he'll come here, and then he'll plant a crop, and then what happens is when he walks out of the string, it's going to update the crop, and it's going to realize that there's not enough light, as you just saw, and then it's going to pop off like that. So then afterwards, after he plants that, he's going to go harvest something else, but then he's going to realize, oh no, there's no plant there, and he's going to keep coming back to this spot every once in a while, and that prevents the villager from going into what's called idle, well, what we call idle mode, which is when he just sort of stands around, and then takes him a while to realize there's actually work to do. We don't want him to do that because we want him working as hard as he can, right? So that's how that works. And then the wheat farm is going to work a little bit differently than the carrot and potato farms, because for the carrot and potato ones, he stands like here or something, and then he chucks the, or he stands, I don't remember where he stands, but he stands somewhere and he throws all his carrots and potatoes to a different villager, but then obviously that villager doesn't pick it up, and then it all goes down this tube here. But the wheat farm, we can't do that because he'll actually craft it into bread first before he throws it into the other villager. And we don't want bread, we want wheat in this case, because we can craft bread ourselves and wheat is much more useful. So that's why we have the minecart. Now we're going to do something very special, and we are going to fill the villager's inventory with seeds. And then that way when you harvest the wheat will stay on the ground, but it'll pick up the seeds because it doesn't have any more slots for wheat. And then the wheat will be on the ground, and then the minecart will pick it back up. So that's how that works. So I've got this minecart track set up here, obviously, and we are going to see if it will work here. So let's get rid of this guy. We don't want him killing any villagers. I've got my wonderful temporary barrier. Okay, so this is going to be our dude. He's a Fletcher. So we're going to give him, to fill up his inventory with seeds, we need to give him 8 stacks of seeds, and I happen to have exactly 8 stacks right here. 8 in a little bit now because the villager has been working. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's something I can dump. Yeah, there is. Let's get rid of this. And one more. Okay, so now we should be able to throw all of the seeds to this villager, and he should pick them all up. Alright, so if we just wait a little while, I think he's picked them all up, right? So now his inventory is full of seeds. So now the next thing we're going to do is we are going to push him and make sure there's no zombies. And now we're going to push him along the track. And he'll go right into our farm. And what's actually interesting is that he can still harvest crops while he's in the minecart, so you might see that happen. Alright, and we're almost ready. Hopefully he doesn't suffocate. And here he is, and he's going to start harvesting if we just push him into one of the crops that... Or, you know what, I might have to get rid of any zombies that are underneath. So let's get rid of this minecart. And, no. Oh, he was trying to harvest the crop. Okay, let's just put a piece of dirt here so he can't get out. Let's grab the minecart. Alright, it looks like it's working. It looks like it's working really well. As you can see, a lot of the wheat has grown because I was just sort of AFK for a little bit because I wanted it all to grow. So what we're going to do here is we are just going to plug up the hole properly with glass. And we don't want him escaping, so let's do this. And then I'm going to wait a little bit and we'll see what happens. Alright, so if you look at here, I am working on the second layer, I think I'm going to make it the potato layer, and I'm almost done, but what I really wanted to show you is that if we come down here, we can see that the villager has finished harvesting all of that wheat. So now you watch what he does. See, when he finishes harvesting that wheat, he'll return back to the center, and then he'll plant the plant there, and then when he walks away, he'll find another wheat that's grown, and he'll harvest that. But if there are no wheat that's grown, he'll go right back. I can't even talk today. He will go right back to the center, and because that plant uproots as soon as he plants it. So there we go. You see, he comes back to it. And that prevents him from going into idle mode so that he's always working. And you can see here that we have tons and tons of wheat from that. So it is working very, very well. What's interesting is that it does take the minecart like 3 minutes to travel the whole thing. But yeah, it is working very, very well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish up the potato layer and maybe the carrot layer as well, because they're exactly the same. And then I will get on to how those ones work differently than the wheat farm. So, tons and tons and tons of progress has been made this episode. So, I've got all 3 layers done at the moment. This layer I don't think quite has all of its plants yet, because I just planted a few and let the villager do the rest. But yeah, all 3 layers are done, and then next episode we'll be doing the outside of this, and we'll be doing a lot of building around here to make this place look a lot nicer. But let's check out what we have here. So, the carrot and potato farms work a bit differently than the wheat farm. Obviously, this is the original design by Unarybit that works with I can't words today. But this one works with the carrots and potatoes, obviously, and how it works is this guy goes around and harvests it all, but this time he picks it up into his inventory. And then he will come over here, and he will stand here, and then he will try to give them to this villager who's sitting on top of the carpet there, and he will miserably fail, and they will just fall in this hole here. And then they will go down and fall down that hole, and if you remember, let's go back out here. If you remember where that hole goes, it goes down, giant leg spike, there you go, through that tube, and then right the way down onto, let's go back in here, onto the minecart track where that gold block is. I don't know if you can see it in the video, but you can just faintly see it there. So then it gets picked up by the minecart, and then all of our goodies, which are coming in at an insane rate, are coming down into these 2 chests here. Now, I've actually had an interesting phenomenon. I might have to reroute the minecart, so instead of going zigzag, 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 like zigzag, zigzag, zigzag all the way to the end, and then zigzag, zigzag, zigzag back, I might have to change it so it zigzags there and then just comes right back, directly back, because sometimes the minecart actually fills up, and then some of the stuff can't be picked up by the minecart because it's too full, which means this system is an absolute beast of a farm, and I really, really love this design. Like, I am not going to have any more problems with emeralds, like even just having 1 tower of these, and I plan on having 2. Like, look at this. Look at all this. This is just like, I don't know, maybe half an hour's worth, and well, half an hour's worth of like wheat, but like, well, I can't really measure because I built the wheat one first and then the potato one and the carrot one. As you can see, the carrot one has just started up because he's just sort of finished planting all the plants. But yeah, it is really, really cool. I love this design. It's really ingenious the way he did the little bit in the middle that prevents the villager from going into idle mode. But what we're going to be doing is, right now actually, before we end the episode, is making a sorting system for this. Now, I actually don't have enough hoppers, so I'll have to go get some. But yeah, we need a sorting system because obviously this is not going to do, and in the future I plan on piping all of the resources from here into one central location. So this is just going to be temporary, so that we don't have a giant overflow here, and so that we can actually use it. So I'm going to do that, and then I will see you when I have the resources that I need. Okay, I have finished my little primitive sorting system here, sorting and storage system, and we can see that every time the cart comes back with a bunch of items, they're going to be sorted into their proper locations, and then they just go into a bunch of chests here. So now we have a good collection system, and any overflow will be shot onto this cactus. So we now have a really good supply. I might move a villager down here so that we can trade for emeralds really easily, and then that would be really awesome. So basically, what have we accomplished this episode? We built a 3-layered, 3 different resource farm that is super duper efficient and produces massive amounts of items. We even modified this to work with wheat, which is awesome, to use this minecart system. And yeah, it's looking pretty good and working very, very well. So big thanks to Unarybit for designing this farm. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the new style of video. I'm trying to change up the way I'm doing videos a little bit. So this is my first Let's Play recorded in 2015, and I hope you enjoyed. I really hope you enjoyed. So tell me what you think. Tell me what you think down in the comments of that little montage thing that I did, and as well just the general quality of the video. Tell me if you like the lower thirds, the little pop-up things that come up in the video. I think those look really fancy. And yeah, so I hope you liked the video, and if you did, a like would be much appreciated. That shows me that you liked the video, and then it inspires me to make more. And follow me on Twitter at NanoRexMC for more updates. But thanks for watching, guys. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time. Rex out.